I want to talk about industries first. So if it's like, hey, I'm not an industry expert, I'm looking to use my core competencies to help build businesses. How do you select industries, right? Are you looking just at the numbers? Are you looking at growth trajectory? If I'm an entrepreneur looking to acquire a new business and it's not, I'm not trying to do something I'm passionate about, I'm trying to do something that's going to get an ROI, right?
Yeah.
How do you pick an industry?
I think there's three different avenues you can take. You can first take and look at just the finances of it.
Yeah.
You can look at how lucrative businesses are. My second company, which was my first large-scale organization, was a roofing company.
Yeah.
Our first calendar year, we did $15 million on 40% profit margins.
Wow.
And we chose that industry specific because of how lucrative it was. That was a very clear decision. I mean, that's the first option, is you can look at industries that are in a way that makes the money that you want to make, but also be able to balance that with the level of challenges that come with that.
Sure.
Because the more money that you're bringing in, the more problems that happen, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the money. It's also how much work do you want to do. I think that's number one. I think the second route you can look at is if you know people now, or you're around people, or you're subjective to people who are highly talented and passionate about something and are seeing it on the opposite coin of view. Guys who enjoy what they do, but they don't know how to turn it into a business. You can look for those people, which I have found and created companies like that. My media company didn't come from me being passionate about media. My media company came from just recognizing the day we're in and wanting to be a part of it, and then stumbling upon two great guys that are passionate about it and trust me and allow me to play my role of turning their talent into a monetized organization. Right? So that's the second route you could look at it. And the third one is you can just genuinely see something that you like. Maybe you're not good at it, but you like it, and you think that it'll excite you, and you think that it will, bring you some joy. Because the truth is, no matter which route you take, and no matter how much you enjoy something, it will get tough. And when it gets tough, if you don't like to be out there and compete, you're not going to play it at a high enough level to win. I mean, I'm a firm believer that if you're a competitive person, you can go compete in anything. You and I can go play a sport I've never played in my life, and I'll get out there and compete.
Yeah.
But if you don't enjoy competing, and if you don't enjoy that sport, as soon as it kind of gets uncomfortable, your mind's going to be like, man, I don't really care about this.
Yeah.
In the business world, you're not just playing with time, you're playing with money.
Yeah.
So when your business starts to bleed, or you have to start, investing in it, and you got to start taking chunks of your money that you've worked really hard for in X or Y, and you're going to lose that. If you don't enjoy it, which is option 3, is just find something you like, man, you're not going to want to do it, and you're going to get out of it. So I think those are your 3 options, truly.
Yeah.
And they all come with different challenges, but
Sure.
that's if you don't take one of those routes and you're just kind of willy-nilly and you're just like, hey, let's start this because this guy did good at that, but you don't know jack about it. You don't know anyone else that knows jack about it, and you don't recognize the challenges that weigh with it. You're not going to stick very long. And I think everybody knows. I know a couple people who I've seen these motherfuckers in 6 years have like 10 different businesses, and none of them made it past month 2.
Yeah.
They're just filing LLCs. So
collecting them like Pokemon.
So you gotta. I think you gotta have a plan, and you gotta have the end in mind at first. You have to know where you're trying to go. You have to see the vision, and you have to prepare for those problems that are to come. And that's the mentality behind it, man. If I told you tomorrow it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. I've been preaching that to you all day. And when you recognize that, and you planned for it, and you dressed for it, and you packed your clothes for it, and tomorrow you walked out and it was thunderstorming, it's inconvenient, but it's not going to frustrate you because you're aware of that. Now, if you didn't know that, nobody told you that, you didn't check the weather, you put on your best fit, you walked outside and it's raining, now it's derailing how your day is going. It changes what you're wearing, it changes the trajectory of things, it messes up your mood, it affects how you carry yourself, and that in turn will lose you money. And make the day go bad. So kind of answer that question in terms of being, an industry expert versus just a business expert. I think every business needs both. Some people are capable of being both, but I would say that's a very, very, very rare instance because both require time and experience. So I think the only time you're really going to find someone who's able to do both is someone who's been doing it for a very, very, very long time at the highest level, right? It's just, owning something is completely different than working in it, and that's kind of how I see it.
Cool. So, no, that's great. So the second part of the question, it sounds like you have a lot of service-based business. You talk about, having a roofing company at a point. You talk about having a media company. When it comes to service-based business, it's all about people, right? And you've talked a lot about people. How do you build your teams, build a culture, and build a people that ultimately build a business?
Man, that's tough. I mean, there's so many, and like first thing I always say is in anything, there's a million ways to play a game.
Yeah.
You know, any sport, any challenge, any activity, there's a ton of ways to approach the game. You know, and the way that I've described it over the years in my business consulting is if you pick your business or your industry, you already have it established, you're trying to maybe do your yearly meetings, your quarterly meetings, and you're looking at how you're going to move forward, or maybe you're doing a pivot, you have to first understand how do you want, before you even figure out how to build a team, before you even figure out if you have the right employees, how do you want to play the game? You know, I'm a firm believer, and I've been this since the beginning. I attribute a lot of how I do business to sports. And not because it's a direct correlation, but I think all competitive things have a direct correlation. But sports to me is the greatest teacher of business because it is the only business that is broadcasted at that level. If we got the opportunity after every Monday to sit with Elon Musk at a table with a Gatorade bottle and grill him on every decision, you know how much we would learn?
Yeah.
Sports is the only field where the people doing it at the highest level have to give an accord for their decision making. They have to explain to you their mentality. We scrutinize them, we watch them. People look at that as entertainment, but if you shift the way you look at that, man, you will learn so much. And I've always said, you want to know business, watch sports. In sports, everybody's got the same goal, right? If we're talking basketball, for example, everybody wants to win a championship. Maybe some teams are tanking on purpose to get players, but you're doing that to compete for a championship.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to be successful, right? You do not become an entrepreneur to just pay your bills. You become that. You want to sign up to deal with that stress to create something that's going to create autonomy or time or income or allow you to drive the car you want or retire your mom or have the house. We all want to compete at the highest level. How do you want to approach the game? I know a lot of basketball teams that look at it like, hey, we want to be 3-and-D guys. We want to be ISO players. We want to be team ball. We want to be, you know, the pass 6 times. You know, we want to be, you know, have 2 of our best players. We want to have everybody good. We want to be a young team. We want to be a veteran team. First, establish how you want to approach the game. And then once you've determined how your team is supposed to look, now you can find the pieces. Now you can gather talent, managers, you know, create roles, create processes that are conducive to that.